What's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and now that you're here, we can get this rock and roll party started. But before we do, I'm a huge fan of Keyforge, and if you are too, then please like, subscribe, and hit the bell, as I'll be bringing you even more lore of Keyforge and the Crucible. Today, I'm going to be kicking off a series called Houses of the Crucible, where I'll be breaking down the different factions that make up the Keyforge lore. These houses sign up to fight alongside Archons against other Archons to collect amber, forge keys, open vaults, and even loot the treasures that are inside. But each house is different and has its own unique design inspirations, membership requirements, hierarchy, ideals, technology, and even uses for amber. So in this series, I'm going to break it all down so that you too can appreciate the unique world that is the Crucible. The first house on the list, House Brobnar. The art and design of House Brobnar draws heavily on Norse mythology, with frost giants, Viking longboats, dragons, and even mentions of Ragnarok found throughout the house. These inspirations carry through to many of the mechanics of House Brobnar, with a strong focus on effects that let you fight more often or destroy your opponent's amber stash. But amidst all the Viking motif, there's one other noticeable inspiration for House Brobnar that's worth mentioning. House Brobnar loves to rock and roll. Many of the cards showcase members of the house rocking out on guitars or enjoying a rowdy battle song. And while this has a much less noticeable impact on the mechanics of the house, it's still wicked awesome to imagine Bracken, the Brobnar house band, doing an impromptu performance in the middle of a ruined battlefield. These guys know how to party, Hollafest style. Membership is made up almost entirely of giants, larger-than-life humanoids that seem to stand between 8 and 12 feet tall, with the largest members, known as Titans, being as tall as mountains. But giants aren't the only members of House Brobnar. The house also includes a number of goblins, short, pointy-eared humanoids with a penchant for destruction and explosives who scurry beneath the feet of their giant allies, leaving chaos in their wake. Additionally, there are no strict requirements on joining House Brobnar, other than a shared love of destruction and a willingness to tell yo mama jokes. The hierarchy of House Brobnar is also very simple, with the strongest and cleverest members rising to the top to lead one of a number of Brobnar clans. House Brobnar doesn't have an overall king, and the Shattered Throne remains empty, but the standout leader in the race to the top is an incredibly strong fighter named Colic Stonefather, whose ability to increase the deadliness of those who follow him into battle makes him a force to be reckoned with. Life in House Brobnar is all about strength. The strength to protect what's yours, the strength to take from others, and even the strength to win a negotiation are all that matters in this rough and tumble group of loosely associated clans that wander the spaces between the cities of the Crucible, challenging anyone brave or foolish enough to cross their path. In House Brobnar, might really does make right, and those unable to protect their belongings will quickly see them taken by those more capable. House Brobnar isn't as dog-eat-dog as all this might imply, as the giants of House Brobnar frequently create groups or form vows in order to achieve common goals. They also have no issue whatsoever allying themselves with other groups that they perceive as strong, though they're very likely to descend into flexing contests as soon as the fighting is done. Before you go thinking House Brobnar is all brawn and no brain, you should look out. House Brobnar has some of the most skilled weaponsmiths on the Crucible. Along with Brobnar scientists, they're very good at creating prosthetics, cybernetics, and making things that can bang, boom, and burn everything between them and victory on the battlefield. House Brobnar technology all centers around a single design idea. First, make a weapon, then figure out some other use for it. All of the speakers at their concerts are sonic blasters, all of their flags are flamethrowers, their bottles are grenades, heck, even their instruments shoot fire and lasers. House Brobnar is also responsible for pioneering some unique uses of amber. By ingesting it in ale, or using it as ink to tattoo their bodies, they're able to increase their strength, durability, and resistance to pain to an incredible degree. This does come with some risks, however, as overdependence on amber can turn into an addiction that causes them to devolve into creatures called ogres, motivated by pure instinct and rage. And while ogres are quite strong, even in House Brobnar, this is considered an undesirable fate. Unsurprisingly, House Brobnar has a strained relationship with the more civilized groups on the Crucible. In particular, the Saurian Republic and Martian enclaves take umbrage with Brobnar's propensity for destroying their cities, hunting their people, and just generally smashing stuff. But other houses, like House Untamed and the Grand Star Alliance, have found ways to get along with House Brobnar and even learn from their constant desire to compete. House Brobnar is easily one of my personal favorite houses to play. There's just nothing quite as satisfying as watching my opponent's entire board state evaporate as I sound the horns and begin a relentless assault of a Brobnar offensive. I hope that this video has given you a better understanding of the inspirations, culture, and technology of House Brobnar. I'm Flightless Pheasant, and this has been my Houses of the Crucible look at House Brobnar. Next time, we'll be diving beneath the surface of the Crucible to investigate rumors of demons lurking in the dark. Until then, later, Archons.